Hi, welcome back to Dallas Twang. I'm Dave. So, I was just sitting here with my Telecaster, and I like to use the Tele and the Strat a lot because it doesn't bleed into this mic as much. I don't have to do as much doctoring of the final product. And I just snapped my E string right off of there, right about where I just was just now on this one. So, pulled this one out, and I really like this thing. It's so loud, in the vocal mic. Anyway, I kind of like the tone of it for this, so I guess it's going to work out. We've used this backing track before. Okay, it's B, couple measures, G sharp minor, E, and back to that G sharp minor. It's kind of an easy rock groove. I made a 4 or 5 minute version of that loop, a loop of it that's in a separate video a couple days ago, so you can use that. And it's a little bit longer than the ones that are at the ends of the lessons, right? The same material. It's called B major backing track, slow rock or something like that, easy rock groove, I think. So I wanted to, we'll do a little bit of the melodic stuff. I feel like we probably covered that, in another lesson for this progression pretty well. Obviously, I'm using minor pentatonic on the 4th position. Okay, wherever you are with using these scales, you can use this lesson and this track to, do your thing, and doesn't really matter. It's not like this is the easy version of the scale, and later on we're going to learn it's all the same stuff. It's just, different levels of where we are with as seeing how creative we can be with using that same information. And then some major pentatonic rooted on the B. Same notes. As the G sharp minor pentatonic, okay? Relative major and minor. So we're not gonna, drill into that too much today because I wanted to focus more on some left hand timing stuff, which also involves your picking, but some different feels that you can use that sort of put like a little bit of swing or triplet feel over a 4-beat measure type of groove like this. And then give you a little practice routine to really integrate that into, some soloing and something that you can really hang out in that backing track and make some music, not just practice, mechanically. So let's put this on for a second. I'll show you just kind of, I think one of the first things you can do is really pay attention in a new way, maybe, kind of pay attention on purpose to what you're already doing, right? Where the downbeat is, kind of, counting. A lot of times we throw that backing track on, we get our tab, our licks out, and we just line up those licks and we just go to town. That's great. You don't need to analyze everything all the time, right? But for this exercise, take a minute to just kind of soak yourself with this tempo and beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Get your body into that, 3. Single note stuff. to turn this right back on. That's where we're going to start. Now, those weren't just quarter notes. If we're just 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a little different feel to that. You don't have to, get out a calculator and a, graph paper or whatever here but just spend some time with this. If you want to know, it's like you're taking eighth notes and dotting one of the eighth notes and then playing a kind of a shorter one after it. So swinging those notes. But like I said, you don't really have to pick all that apart. Now there at the end, I am doing straight quarter notes, right? Straight eights, 1 and 2 and 3 and down. That's a little different. Okay, so that feels pretty good. The straight stuff does too, but it gets old really quick. When you see a lot of tab and stuff written out at first too, you might see, I know, I can see that these notes are closer together in time than these are spread out. And even if you don't read all that notation, you can see sort of a symbolic version of that. But a lot of it might be pretty fuzzy as to like how to actually count all that stuff out. And we can do a little bit of that. There's some great videos on other channels that really get into that and use great diagrams and things. This one today, I'm just kind of letting you know that there's kind of quicker and easier ways to sort of get into those feels. And one is to start off just counting and then play some quarter notes, play some eighth notes. And then you might have to come back and watch this a couple times, but you just kind of catch that hesitation, that it's really, once you start to feel that, really veg out on that. And then, you can kind of start to mix it back and forth with your other kind of blues phrasings and stuff. I had a bunch of dental work done about 2 days ago, and I got some weird stuff going on in here. So if you're wondering, my speech is a little bit off, but everything's okay. It turned out pretty good. I've been putting it off for a long time, but it needed to be done. So I'm kind of glad that it's over with. So let me just play a little bit of that kind of swing, slow swung eighth note feel, and follow along with it. Just jump in there. Any note that you play on this minor pentatonic is going to work. No matter if it's the same note I'm playing, we'll instantly harmonize. You'll see you'll come up with great stuff. But I'm going to spend a minute or so on this so that you can really jump in here and follow along. Not note for note, but feel-wise. Okay, now I put a couple of notes in there that weren't pentatonic, didn't I? Hopefully your harmony stuff still sounded okay with that. I tried to put a little extra something in there for us to, just for our ear, just to spice it up a little bit. And all I'm doing there is working in some B major do re mi stuff. That's it. And then just doing that inside. Again, this one's more about this feel, this rhythmic feels thing, and not so much about the melody. But you know, you tire of those patterns of pentatonic if you're just really kind of using them mechanically like this. And so that's something else you can do if you want to. Now, the last little part of this is just going to be suggestions to support your working this into your current system of using the blues scale, minor pentatonic, and licks that would lend themselves to this style. And I'll start with a little example and then. Pretty straightforward. This blues lick. Now, bouncing your pick a little bit on your right hand and just adding a couple more notes, sometimes at the end of a phrase, even if it's just one more little bounce there, really adds something. Now, I do that a lot at the beginning of phrases and the end. And this is a real simple idea that can, add some flavor pretty easily. And carried that into sort of a repetitive. But that, start bouncing that right hand couple extra notes, and sometimes you'll get onto a lick that you or a end of a phrase that really will create your next lick, right? It's not just like a way to close one. It kind of becomes. And it can become part of the theme. Right? So, again, obviously that's not something where you're going to count out all that in sort of a paper and pencil sort of way, right? It's that idea, just bounce it. Stay in a pocket in a few notes that you're really comfortable with to really explore that, but then work it in. Then I'm going to work it in a little bit with that. And you'll see I'll do a little bit of extra notes here and there, and it'll kind of break up the squareness of that. And it also kind of lets you feel new places to rest or to break into your phrasings and separate them. Now, I have blues signature licks that I use that I don't even know I'm doing at the end, right? Let's give credit there to Freddie King, Albert. That's where that stuff comes from. And early on, kind of copied some of that stuff. Now I just when I get done with a solo, I just kind of it's just one of my things. When you see me do that a lot, sometimes it's out of the context of what we're really talking about in the lesson. Those are just things that, and you have things like that. Doesn't matter what level of player you are, you're already coining those signature things that just feel right to you and that are they're intrinsic, right? You don't have to think about doing them. You're already doing them. So when I say, let yourself go and mix this new material and these new concepts into your system, that's what I'm referring to. Don't try to adopt someone else's system necessarily. And that's kind of a philosophy on this channel. Other times you want to just copy it note per note or something, but that's probably enough to keep you going for a while. I'm going to play a little bit more, get you this backing track. I'm really going to emphasize that. We covered a lot in this lesson, but start off by just doing simple sequences of that scale and looking for that new feel, that little bit of swing in there. Take some pauses. All right. Have fun. Let me know how you're doing. Talk to you next time.